Okay, so today's topic, breaking news. This just came down the news wire, but Woj is reporting that the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers have made a mega trade where essentially the Brooklyn Nets will get Ben Simmons, draft picks, as well as players, and the 76ers get James Harden and Paul Millsap. Now, a lot of people have been reporting that James Harden has been unhappy with the Brooklyn Nets organization, just isn't pleased, hasn't been pleased pretty much with the Brooklyn Nets this year, and he's been kind of upset with the Brooklyn Nets even late in when they did their playoff run. He wasn't too happy then either. Daryl Morey has a relationship with James Harden because James Harden was his star player back in Houston. And Daryl Morey had made it a point when discussing the possibility of Ben Simmons being moved from the Philadelphia 76ers to another team, when Ben Simmons refused to report to training camp. He basically said, look, in order to get a trade done, you're going to have to wow Daryl Morey because he's not going to give Ben Simmons up for nothing. Now, they have been suspending his pay. They have been giving him fines and things of that nature. He hasn't gotten all of his money back because he still is owed tons of money, as well as he's got multiple years on the contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. But all of that's in the past now. He's now a member of the Brooklyn Nets. So the Brooklyn Nets sort of rebound, getting some, if not most, of their trade, getting draft picks as well as players back. So now it doesn't look like they have egg on their face, particularly when they gave up so much for James Harden. They literally gave up their whole entire squad for James Harden. And now, if you look at this trade, they replenish some, if not all, of what they lost by trading for James Harden and what they gave the Houston Rockets organization as far as draft picks and and players that they have lost. Two of those players are now with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So a lot of people are going to wonder, and you're going to hear a lot of people say, who won, who lost? And in my humble expert opinion, the Brooklyn Nets stole Ben Simmons away from the Philadelphia 76ers. Why do I say that? James Harden has a pattern. He has a history of when things are not going as well, he will essentially quit on you. He's also has a pattern of behavior of you have to please James Harden. It's sort of the same type of syndrome that the LA Lakers are experiencing with LeBron James. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. But please make him happy. If you have to trade away all and mortgage away your future in any type of talented player that you have on that roster just to please LeBron James, you're going to have to do it. All right? And Daryl Morey, even though he has a relationship with James Harden and he understands James Harden, still at the end of the day, there's a possibility that maybe not this year, maybe not next year. I'm pretty sure he's going to sign an extension with the Philadelphia 76ers, okay? But maybe 2 years down the road, he's not going to be happy with the Philadelphia 76ers or Daryl Morey if they go south, if they don't reach expectations, which a lot of people feel like they should be contending for titles with and at that time they had Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and everyone was talking about, okay, they have the pieces to contend for a title. So that's one thing on the spectrum that a lot of people are, when you look at this trade, the possibilities are still there that James Harden might explode and quit on his third team. Now, he quit on the Houston Rockets. And as far as the Brooklyn Nets go, he's been quitting on the Brooklyn Nets this season, the past couple of weeks. And I sort of want to give him a pass, I sort of want to co-sign with them. And I understand why he quit on the Brooklyn Nets, because the Brooklyn Nets are not really going anywhere anytime soon. Okay? You got the situation with Kyrie Irving. I think he's irritated on that perspective. Kyrie Irving refusing to get vaccinated, and now he's able to play away games but not home games. Now I think they have changed that to now he can play away, he can play home and away games, but still the damage was already done, and he wasn't too happy about that. Not mentioning the fact that with the rule changes in the NBA, he had a hard time dealing with that, as well as, everyone, every time anyone talks about the Brooklyn Nets and how their record isn't what everyone expected to be, the second person that they blame is James Harden. And James Harden shouldn't take the bulk of that blame. Now, he should be responsible for taking some of the blame, but not the whole bulk of it. And people just bypass the fact that Kyrie Irving, which that's another video for another day. I feel like Kyrie Irving should deserve the majority of that blame. But that's neither here nor there about this discussion. My thing of it is the Philadelphia 76ers are getting James Harden, who has a pattern of, if things don't go his way, he's going to quit on you. Even if it means not showing up for training camp, even if it means not showing up for practice, even if it means not showing up for games, putting on weight, doing his tour of traveling different strip clubs and things of that nature. That's the potential and the risk that you face if you're the Philadelphia 76ers. The Brooklyn Nets, in my opinion, they won hands down with this trade. And let me explain to you guys. You got a once in a lifetime, I say once in a generational player such as Ben Simmons, who hasn't necessarily scratched the surface of his full potential. All right? Who's a distributor. He's not going to be demanding the ball as much, meaning you have two shooters which love the responsibility of taking the shots, or a multitude of shots, which is Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. He blends perfectly with that system and with that roster. Plus, the Brooklyn Nets are getting Andre Drummond. They need a big man presence, so that solves a second thing that the Brooklyn Nets have been acquiring and trying to fill that spot. Plus, you're getting players that's going to help you contribute to the team. And you have a future. You have draft picks. This cannot get any better for the Brooklyn Nets. Now, normally when you're doing trades, it's a give or take. It's give or take. Okay, we're going to give you this, but you're going to have to give up X, Y, and Z. And judging by the trade, if this trade is official, and if this trade goes down, and if this trade goes the way it is currently right now, the Brooklyn Nets not only got a star, which is Ben Simmons, but they got assets that can help them now and as well as the future. Plus, they got draft picks. They didn't get all the draft picks that they lost for getting James Harden, but they got some of their draft picks, and that is good, particularly if the Philadelphia 76ers start falling off and they don't make, let's just say hypothetically, they don't make the playoffs. All right? The potential of those picks can be leveraged into something else or becoming better picks down the road really benefits the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets, they just essentially robbed the bank in broad daylight with no mask, no nothing, and got everything that they wanted. They lost a superstar or a star, a fading star, James Harden, because the James Harden that they're getting now isn't the same James Harden that was had a dominating season when he was with Houston. So you're not even getting that James Harden. James Harden is getting older and longer in the tooth. I'm not saying he's super old, but he's getting there. He's almost out of his prime. Ben Simmons is still young, developing, and haven't even scratched the surface of what he could potentially do. Plus, he's not really in his prime. So just a straight up trade like that for James Harden and Ben Simmons, I'm sorry, Ben Simmons fits perfectly with the Brooklyn Nets. They really don't have to adjust to too much. They just plug him right in. He's automatically going to defend the best defender on the other team. He's going to give you rebounds, okay? He's going to push the ball. He's going to organize. Can I say the stupid word right? He's already going to organize the play. And you don't have to feed him the ball to make him happy. He is just happy, peachy keen, fine if he doesn't get a lot of touches. And you can now use those touches that you was once trying to split with James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. Now, instead of splitting those touches, it's just Kyrie. It's basically just Kyrie. Kevin Durant is happy with the scraps. He's not demanding the ball as much like he did with the Golden State Warriors. This is a perfect trade for the Brooklyn Nets. I know a lot of people are going to jump on the other side of the fence and say, well, the Philadelphia finally got rid of Ben Simmons. They found a taker for Ben Simmons. Look, every team in the NBA wants Ben Simmons. It would have been no problem for Ben Simmons to get traded a lot sooner. But the problem and why it took so long for Ben Simmons to get traded had nothing to do with the talent of Ben Simmons, had nothing to do with the behavior pattern of Ben Simmons, has more to do with Daryl Morey's expectations of you have to wow him to get Ben Simmons. And I'm sorry, this is not a deal that wows. Okay, you're essentially just giving up. You just gave up on Ben Simmons, and Daryl Morey is saying, hey, look, my little time with Ben Simmons, I'm not too pleased with him. But, I did have a lot of good years with James Harden. Okay, I know James Harden a little bit more than Ben Simmons. And that's why I'm choosing James Harden. But Daryl Morey is living in the past because that James Harden that was dominating the league with the Houston Rockets isn't the same James Harden that you're getting for the Philadelphia 76ers. Yesterday's price isn't today's price. Remember that. This deal, it adds an extra player for the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't talk so much about the Brooklyn Nets, about what this deal means for them. I didn't really scratch the surface on the Philadelphia 76ers. Now they got two superstars, the Philadelphia 76ers. Surround them with those talented shooters. Okay, so who is going to organize the plays and make sure everyone gets a touch of the ball? Because 9 times out of 10, I'm telling you what's going to happen. James Harden is going to get the bulk of the share of ball duties. He's also going to get the bulk of design of plays that's going to, first, he's going to benefit himself. He's going to slash to the hole. If someone's open, he's going to pass it that way. They're going to have a bunch of stand-around shooters. Essentially, Joel Embiid is going to be a stand-around shooter, which he loves to play the perimeter. He loves to play the three-point shot. So now he can work on that aspect of his game instead of just staying down low and dominating. I feel like this caused more problems for Philly than solutions. But, people are going to say whatever they want to say. People are going to say, oh, the Philadelphia 76ers, they won hands down. I mean, it is what it is. But I'm telling you guys, just looking at it, the Brooklyn Nets covered all their bases with this trade. They got a big man, which they desperately seeking Susan, been wanting since the start of the season. You got another superstar who is younger. You got a superstar who's more of a facilitator. You don't have to give him too many touches. He fits perfectly in your system. Steve Nash can develop Ben Simmons and take him to the next level. Kevin Durant can get the very best out of Ben Simmons and take him to the next level. I mean, this is a one-sided deal. I know a lot of people are going to talk about how Philadelphia won and how this is so important for Philadelphia. Basically and essentially, Philadelphia, the only pros of Philadelphia got is they got rid of Ben Simmons. That's basically it, okay? They replaced Ben Simmons with someone who's an ISO guard, who's going to be demanding the ball a lot more, plus he's older. And what if things don't go as well as planned with the Philadelphia 76ers? Is he going to quit on them like he quit on Houston? Like he was starting to do with Brooklyn? You have to keep that in perspective when you're talking about James Harden, because he has a history and he has a pattern of doing that. Don't sit up there and say, well, no. I'm telling you guys, great trade for Brooklyn. If you're looking at it from the Philly standpoint of they got rid of Ben Simmons, okay, you can look at it that way. But I'm telling you, this trade is going to have consequences and repercussions 4 years down the road. People are going to be talking about the missed opportunities Philly could have, should have, could have, would have, if they would have just kept Ben Simmons. If they didn't sign Doc Rivers as a head coach. If Daryl Morey wasn't too stubborn and trying to please everyone in the league instead of just pleasing the Philadelphia 76ers organization. And Philly fans are going to be whining, bitching, and moaning about this for decades to come. The what if. They're going to be playing the what if game. This trade for Philly, on their standpoint, it makes them a contending team, but does this elevate them better than the Bucks? No. Better than Brooklyn? No. The Heat? No. The Bulls? No. And this trade really don't even help them on the side of the West. This trade doesn't make them better than Phoenix. This trade doesn't make them better than the Golden State Warriors. This trade doesn't make them better than Utah or the Memphis Grizzlies. So, yeah, that's all I got for this. Guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys on the next video.